Going back to my locator design, we've established the information in the top view. I need to project this into the right side view. One of the ways that I can do that is to use a miter line. I'm going to change from the object layer back to the construction layer, and then we will turn the construction layer back on. Here above my right side view, I'm going to establish a 45-degree line that will allow me to project information around this corner. So I'll get a line command. I'm going to click on this intersection and this upper right intersection and end that. That establishes my miter line. On the flyout from my draw toolbar, I'm going to choose construction line again, and this time I'm going to right click before I start drawing and lock these construction lines into being horizontal lines. Now I can choose, using my object snaps, each of these points in my top view to establish my construction lines being projected towards my miter line. I'll hit enter to end that. Now I want to trim these lines off, so I'm going to use a trim, choose my miter line, hit enter, and now I'm going to use a crossing window across these, and when I left click it trims that back. We can now project our lines into this right side view, so I'll use a construction line again. This time I'm going to right click and lock them into vertical, and I can go right down my miter line and establish each of these points to project this information into the right side view. We'll need some additional line types. I'm going to use my layer property manager to make some new layers. I'm going to add a layer for hidden objects. These are going to be cayenne. And for my line type, rather than continuous, we need to add hidden lines. So I'm going to go down to the load button, click on that, and choose hidden. We'll say OK, and then I have to choose hidden from my select line type box and say OK, and that's created the hidden layer. I'm going to establish one more layer, and this is going to be a layer for center lines. We'll change the color to red, and for the line type we need to add our center lines. So now that's been added to my loaded line types, I can select center line and say OK. I'm going to set my current layer to the object layer and close my property manager. I'm going to use a line, and I'm going to take the projected edges from what I know would be the objects, such as this corner, this edge, and my front on either side of the slot. So we'll bring back our line, click here and here. Now these other lines that represent these edges that are behind will need to be hidden lines. So I'm going to change to the hidden line layer. I'm going to bring back my line command, and I know that this line right here and this line right here would be hidden lines, and then I have a center line down the middle. I'm going to change to the center line layer, bring back my line command, and establish my center line at that point. With this done, I'm going to go to my drop-down list and again turn off my construction lines. I need to go back to the object layer and establish the line that represents this edge from the front view. I'll get a line and I'm going to project this using object snap tracking to that intersection and across. On this other side, I want this to be perpendicular. Snap perpendicular. I need to chamfer these corners, and again I'm going to use my chamfer command, and this time I know the distance from this corner and I know the angle, so I'm going to use the down arrow and I'm going to say angle. It wants to know the distance from the first line, and we know it's 1 inch from the corner. Second, it wants the angle, and we're going to say 30 degrees. Enter, and we select the first line. This is the line that has the distance. Click. This is the line for the projected angle. I'll hit enter to bring it back and click on distance and angle, and then trim off my excess lines. So also trimming off any of these hidden in object lines that I wouldn't see in this view. Looking back at my front view, I still have some object and hidden lines to add. I'm going to change to the object layer, use my line and project this edge into the front view. There's the intersection, and I want perpendicular, so I'm going to go on top of my object snaps and choose perpendicular to be turned on, and there's a perpendicular point on the other side. I need a hidden line that represents the back edge of this slot, so I'll go to this midpoint, track down into the front view. There's my intersection, perpendicular, and I need some center lines, so I'll change to the center line layer, get a line, and from the center of this circle I'm going to track down to the front view. There's the intersection and perpendicular. Now for my center lines, they should extend beyond the edges of my object, so I'm going to stretch them above and below the object lines, and I'll do the same in my right side view. I need to turn my object snap off while I move that one. I'll turn my object snap back on. With this project done, I'm going to, on my quick access toolbar, choose Save, and in my Documents, in my AutoCAD project folder, I'm going to save this as Project 5 Locator.